Hello, boys and girls, and welcome back to another episode of Deep and Effective Big Book Study. This is your friendly neighborhood recovered alcoholic. Hope everybody is doing well today. Today, guys, boys and girls, we're going to be doing episode 20, which is step 6. I'm real excited about this, right? Because step 6 and 7, they don't get much spotlight within the program. They tend to get really glossed over, right? And they tend to get grouped together. So, but I want to do them separately because they are their own individual steps and they stand on their own. So as always, I appreciate you being here today, guys. If you hadn't already had a chance to hit that subscribe button, that would be fantastic. Give it a thumbs up and leave me a comment. As always, we're going to open up with the set-aside prayer. So if you care to join me, I'm going to take a quick moment of silence and we're going to get going in this thing. God, please help me set aside everything I think I know about myself, my disease, the 12 steps, and especially you, so I may have an open mind and a new experience with all these things. All right, now we can rock and roll. We got the big chief in the house. Right, okay, so I'm going to drop in my email, guys. It's recoveredalcoholic1939@gmail.com. If you're looking for sponsorship, both men and women, reach out to me. I can get you hooked up. I can get you directed in the right path with some other women. If you're looking for any solution-based big book study meetings, please leave a comment or shoot me a direct email and I can get you hooked up with some information. And since this is the Deep and Effective Big Book Study, and this whole program is about repetition, well, again, I'm going to read from page 25. So if you care to join me, let's go. The great fact is just this, and nothing less, that we've had deep and effective spiritual experiences which have revolutionized our whole attitude toward life, toward our fellows, and toward God's universe. The central fact of our lives today is the absolute certainty that our Creator has entered into our hearts and lives in a way which is indeed miraculous. He has commenced to accomplish those things for us which we can never do by ourselves. Okay, got all that out of the way. Now let's get down to business, shall we? So like I said a minute ago, right? Steps 6 and 7 tend to really get overlooked, and they don't seem to get the attention that they deserve. They also tend to get grouped together, which is great. They go hand in hand, no doubt about that. But they do stand on their own. Each step is a vital, important part of the process. And each step comes with its own individual principle. But remember, the whole point of the program, right, is to have a spiritual awakening, and then I can learn how to practice these principles in all my affairs. Right? So again, I have to know these principles in order to achieve that goal. So the principle behind step 6, guys, is willingness. Willingness with humility. And we're going to see that right in the 6th step. So let's back up one moment here and recap, right? So we just come off of the bottom of page 75, right? Where we talked about those 6 things that we had to go home and do, or get quiet for an hour, wherever you did this at, right? There were 6 things that I had to complete, right? And there were some series of questions, and really what it is about prayer and meditation, right? So if I've done that, I am ready to move on to page 76. Very simple stuff. So here we are, top of 76. And then when we look at step 6, right, it's just one little paragraph, right? It doesn't appear to be that much information. And this is why it gets so glossed over, I think. But when I really start to take a little deeper look, I'll start to understand that this one little paragraph is just packed full of information. So I'm going to read step 6. I'm going to show you that the 6-step prayer is right here. Also, another little quick side note we'll be getting to is that on page 76 we have 3 prayers. We have the 6-step prayer, we have the 7-step prayer, and we have the 8-step prayer. And all 3 prayers are about willingness. Again, because willingness is the cornerstone of our recovery. It is that important. So here we go, guys. Here is step 6, and it's in depth, but it's yet still so simple. If we can answer to our satisfaction, and those are the questions that we're talking about on the bottom of 75. Was I able to answer those questions satisfactorily, right? Then we look at step 6. We have emphasized willingness as being indispensable. Let's take a moment and define indispensable. And here it is. In our little handy dandy big book dictionary, they have one simple definition. and it is absolutely necessary. Willingness is absolutely, without willingness, there is no program. We are now ready to let God remove all those things from us which we have admitted are objectionable. Can he now take them all? Every one? That's a question. If we still cling to something, we will not let go. And here's the 6-step prayer, my friends. We ask God to help us be willing. All right, so I read the paragraph. Now let's go back over this and break it down, okay? So we now know that the principle behind the 6th step is willingness. Willingness with humility, right? We see the word willingness twice within this one paragraph, right? And there's even a prayer for willingness, okay? But there's some other key words that make this step, this one paragraph, so much deeper than it appears, right? And I define the word indispensable. Now we're going to define the word objectionable, because this is the word that's putting this whole thing together for us. And here's the definition of objectionable: unwanted, unacceptable, offensive. So why are we defining that word objectionable? Why is that important? Well, I got to tell you, because when I really understand the definition of this word and why it is where it is in this step, well, this is what's going to start to tie everything that I've done up to this point together. So this is what the inventory process forced me to see within myself. You see, when I get to Alcoholics Anonymous, see, I'm a liar, I'm a cheat, I'm a thief, I'm selfish, I'm dishonest, I'm manipulative, I'm a tornado roaring my way through people's lives, right? And it talks about it on 62, about how an alcoholic is an extreme example of self-will run riot, though he usually doesn't think so, right? And I talked about this before, and I think in the first inventory episode, about if I was to stop right here in the 3rd step, I will never get past that understanding that I usually don't think so, right? Because what I'm doing in the 3rd step is I'm still blaming you and I'm still playing the victim, right? But what the 4th and 5th step show me is not all these behaviors that I've been holding you in contempt for, I am doing myself. So when I discover that I am a liar, a cheat, and a thief, and ad infinitum, do I find these things about me objectionable? Do I want to continue to be these things? Right? That's what I'm asking myself right now in this 6th step. Right? Did I discover that I have all these ridiculous prejudices and closed-minded beliefs and all these other things I've discovered that, you know what? I don't want to be that. They're not serving me. And it's not how God wants me to be. So until I find something about myself unwanted or unacceptable, I'm not going to be willing to let God take that from me. Right? It talks about it on page 66. And when it says that we are prepared to look at it from an entirely different angle, they're talking about the list, our inventory. Well, this is what's happening in 6. Is I'm starting to see who and what I am from an entirely different angle. And I'm discovering that I am objectionable. You with me? And another key part within this one simple paragraph is that says we are now ready to let God remove these things from, right? So here's the problem. I can't fix self with self. Now, if you're able to do that, my hat's off to you. Congratulations. But I don't have the power to do that, right? And again, within that one simple sentence is we are now ready to let God remove all these things, right? Again, what is the solution? What is the solution to all my problems? It's God. We're not selling anything else. Alcoholics Anonymous has never claimed to be anything other than about getting hooked up to God. And then I see this simple prayer about willingness. See how simple? We don't have to overcomplicate this thing. I'm just simply going to ask for willingness. And I'll give you an example of what I'm talking about finding things about myself unwanted. So, see, I'm sarcastic. I find my sarcasm to be beneficial. I find it to be funny. So I haven't found it unacceptable, right? It's not an unacceptable character defect of mine. So therefore, I'm not willing to give it to God. That's why I continue to be sarcastic, right? So that's what we're asking ourselves in this step. I have to come to terms with the way I am acting, thinking, and doing just to be unacceptable. Because I'm not going to give it away until it stops serving me. So the essence of step 6 is simply about willingness, okay? Willingness with humility. And it's about prayer and meditation as well. This is, again, I just came off this 5th step where I got quiet and I reviewed and I really started to turn those eyes inward. And I also start to see and know for a fact that I am not going to be able to fix me without God. I have to align my will with His will in order to be better, right? Because if all I had to do was just not drink and go to meetings and I could recreate my life, well, then the big book would be 1 page long. But that's not reality, is it? Right? And when I can answer these questions successfully, right? Well, then we're going to segue straight into step 7. Right? And I'm going to do step 7 as its own unique episode, right? Because it's its own unique step. So I want to leave you with the thought, with the contemplation of taking another look at this simple paragraph on the top of 76 and start to see where there's things within yourself that you find objectionable, right? That's what I have to really be thinking about, right? Getting quiet and going, okay, yeah, but here's the catch, is that I can't fix it. I gotta have God. So here's my email, guys, recoveredalcoholic1939@gmail.com. Questions, comments, concerns, you're looking for sponsorship or any big book solution-based meetings, please reach out to me. And if you haven't already had an opportunity to subscribe, please do that. And from the bottom of page 164, may God bless you and keep you until then. So take care and much love.